Die Spitz, throw yourself to the sword. You know, in a lot of the songs I've recently transcribed, I've had a hard time thinking of stuff to talk about because they start seeming kind of cookie cutter and it seems like redundant information. But this one I have a few things to talk about. And the first one we'll talk about is tempo. It felt surprisingly quick because I had been working on some songs that were really quick ahead of this one, and I'm like, wow, this one seems quick. So my tip for you is, if the tempo seems kind of quick, practice the riff and practice the changes. And I say that because most most of these thrash type riffs or groove metal riffs, we don't want to sit and practice them. I should already have the skill set for this triplet, and I should be able to do this downstroke or this upstroke, and you just want to get in there and knock it out. But there's a lot of fluidity, precision, just execution gets enhanced when you've kind of ingrained into your brain, like, here's the new pattern I'm working on. So work on the pattern, and once that's in place, then tempo really just kind of falls to the wayside. Tempo just tends to be more of a challenge when you're struggling with the muscle memory and the changes between riffs. The other thing I wanted to talk about was tuning. This is tuned to C, and there's a lot of great stuff tuned to C. In this song, impressed upon me that I have a problem discerning pitch when it's this low. And tuning fought me, transcribing fought me. Maybe I had to be going a heavier gauge, but I'm lazy. I don't want to change out strings just for some song that I'm going to be on for a week or two. So what's my point with that? Just an observation for just something about perceiving pitch when you're already tuned pretty low seems to be a challenge. And that kind of leads into, let's just call it production tone on this song. And when I first heard the song, I'm like, this is catchy, I kind of like it. And I switched over from enjoying the music to trying to pick it apart as a musician. Like, how do they do it? What are they doing? Can I pull this off? And I was like, I can't really hear what they're doing. And even when I really dialed in, got headphones on, slowed the song down, worked on transcribing it, there was still stuff in there I couldn't discern. It's like, what are they doing? It's not cutting through in the mix. And that's something that's got me thinking. It's like, when you get used to, let's just say, 90s, post-90s thrash, where there's just precision and production where you can hear all the notes, you become to think that that's the gold standard. And on this song, I was thinking during part of it, like, they kind of messed up because you can't discern everything that they're playing. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, who's to say perfection in terms of the notes cutting through and clarity of it is really what's needed in an artistic endeavor. And so I liked this song from the get-go. I wasn't able to discern everything that was going on in a whole lot of detail. And I'm starting to think, what? That's a great lesson to me that art is art, and it doesn't have to follow the patterns of production that cuts through, tones that cut through. And along the same lines of thinking is tone. And I was looking at one of their live videos, and I noticed that the singer lead guitarist had a number of pedals in front of her. And I missed that stage of the tone game. My experience was an amp head with maybe an EQ and then jump into a pod. And when you go the pedal route, there's like infinite pedals, infinite possibilities. And and what just struck me as unique on this is it was kind of a classic tone. It's a tone where you could use this same tone and play some COC. And what I mean by classic tone is almost pure amp head with maybe a distortion pedal to it. And on this song, on my pod was a distortion patch called like Fuzz something. And it sounded good. I'd never use it on anything. But, maybe it's kind of gelling. Maybe they had something that was similar to a fuzz on there. So just bring it up to another observation. Maybe is a pedal board or pedal dominant tone. It could be how they created it. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about on here. The riffs. Usually when you get into a heavier song like this, you find out that there's like a core key riff that's kind of got the hook, maybe a couple good riffs, and then the rest are filler. As I figured out these riffs, I'm like, this riff could stand alone and make a song on its own. And then the next riff was good, and I'm like, this riff could stand alone and make a song on its own. Every riff in this song could stand alone and has enough of substance to it to be a hook. But you just don't realize it because maybe they're singing over it, or maybe for all the things I just mentioned, it wasn't cutting through in a mix. So that was interesting to see that they created follow-on riffs that could have stand alone and were heavy on their own. And this is something kind of unrelated to this song, but it's just another observation I feel like talking about. This is the second band that I've transcribed a song that was all female. And in both cases, one of the band members just was grinning ear to ear. In this case, it was the bass player. You never see that with men. Are we creative from a different well? Is it we pull from aggression and these ladies are pulling from creative desire and they're grinning because they're executing on what they desired to create? I don't know, but there's something interesting about how the end product is got all the goodness to it, and us guys are pulling from testosterone or something of that nature, and some of these women are just grinning. Watch, see if you see more cases of that. I hope you enjoy the song. Have a good one.